Okay, here we are. My first Psychic Powers, Inquisimunda Psychic Powers video was just pretty pathetic, I thought. So I now have the new set, much more clear set of Psychic Powers rules from Inquisimunda version 2. And I'm going to just do exactly, we're going to scrap the first video and go over the Divination, hopefully more clear rules, and have a few little miniatures here set up to take it, kind of demonstrate. This is going to be our Psyker, Death World, Imperial Guard veteran, but also a Psyker, and this is some of their Death World veteran friends, and these are going to be some Rebel Guardsmen that they are taking out with Psychic Powers. Alright, let's get started. So these Psychic Powers are almost perfect, except for this ruling where it says you roll your Psychic test at the beginning of your turn, pretty much before, any of your guys move or shoot or anything, for each Psyker. And that would be fine, except some of the Psychic Powers have a specific downside. If you, they can either pin you or, like this one, if failed, the model is subject to stupidity until its next activation. So things like that, if you had Riddle Me This and then another Psychic Power that didn't have a downside, you would just fail your Psychic test at the beginning of the turn, and then choose to use whichever one doesn't have a downside. You see, so you can avoid the downside by pretty much rolling your Psychic test before you even know which Psychic ability you want to use during your turn. So I'm just doing normal roll for the Psychic test during the shooting phase when you would make it, or if it happens sometime outside the shooting phase, then roll for it then. But these rules are great. Just this first part about saying roll at the beginning of the turn does not work for some of the downsides. You can just avoid them. Anyways, that's all. The Perils of the Warp rules are really good. I'm going to go through those really fast. But first we'll just do a Psychic Focus. Certain things give you a +1 or -1. You can choose to your... you may re-roll one dice of the Psychic test if you have something that gives you Psychic Focus. So that's honestly even better, I think. Perils of the Warp. If you roll natural 2 or 12, double 1s or 6s, you have to roll on this table. If you get a 1, it's Shadow in the Warp. The Psyker and all models within 2 inches must take a leadership test. If passed, any models may act normally, though the Psyker might not use his power during this turn. If failed, no models may take any voluntary actions this round. So that's a little strange, but pretty much any model that passes the leadership can act, any that don't can't. Attacked by a Warp Predator at strength D6, no saves allowed, that's 2 to 3. Possessed, there's whole rules for possession, which you pretty much turn into a, you know what it is. So the possessed rules are pretty long, but essentially all your stats are doubled. Whichever Psyker is possessed, their stats all get doubled. Not all stats, but weapon skill, strength, toughness, and attacks all doubled. And then they act pretty much each turn. At the beginning of each turn, roll a scatter die, and the possessed creature moves in that direction with the scatter die. It also has a warp energy blast. I think it also has some Psychic powers, maybe. No. But and then it has a chance to just burn out. But it'll do a lot of damage probably before that. So now we'll just go into the Divination powers. Sorry, I forgot. Of course, if you roll a 6, you're drawn into the warp. Unless the Psyker can successfully pass an initiative test, he is drawn screaming into the warp. Remove the model from play. It's immediately killed. Other models within 1 inch, they must also take the initiative test or suffer the same fate. So that's a pretty brutal, not very, it's not going to happen all that often, but when it does happen, it's not going to feel good. Okay, so here we are, Divination. And the first psychic power is Precognition. And we've been over this before. You can see into the near future and try to avoid to attempt danger. After setup, you take the psychic test. If passed, you can redeploy D3 friendly models anywhere within their deployment zone. So we could say these guys right here deployed there. They realize it's not a good position. They want some maybe some distance from these guys. Or maybe there's an objective, something they want over on the other side of the board, or they need to just get past, exit on this side of the board. So our Psyker here would use his psychic test. We're just going to say he passes, and he can redeploy up to D3 models. We can roll a dice for it, or I would probably just move all 4 of them. 3, and that's not going to happen all the time, but normally it'd be around 2 models on average, so we'll move, redeploy our Psyker and 1 other guy. Alright, so we have a guy with a bolter right here. He can out short range these lasgun guys who only have an 8-inch short range, so we're going to move him, redeploy him up here. Oh, and then the Psyker is going to redeploy over here. Probably try and go across and get some objective over there. We'll put him up here just to make it look nice. Alright. So the next psychic power is Guide. This one's nice, I like this. The Psyker may guide the shots of one friendly model within 12 inches. If the model is on Overwatch, it does not take this. It does not suffer the to hit penalty from Overwatch when it takes its shot. If it does a normal shot, it may re-roll 1 failed to hit roll. So that's really good, whether using on Overwatch or just shooting. We have our Psyker here within 12 inches of this guy, and he wants to take shots into some of these guys over here. We'll say this guy. So our bolter man is just outside of 12 inches, outside of the short range. So hitting on 4s like normal, because this guy has no cover, but re-rolling because our Psyker has passed their test and giving him a free re-roll. Good, we need it. Our 4, and there we go. It's we need an ammo roll for him, but he got the shot through to hit our Rebel Guardsman over here. Alright, so the third psychic power, Righteous Cause. The Psyker and 2 friendly models within 6 inches are initiative, or +1 initiative and +1 leadership until the end of the scenario. The effects of this are not cumulative, so pretty much if you have multiple Psykers use this on the same model, it's not going to be +2 initiative and +2 leadership. But anyways, so we have a some horrific mutated creature come out of the depths of this ancient broken shrine world, or who knows, some imperial city, and it causes fear for sure. Maybe even terror. We'll say it causes terror. So our guys right here are going to want to have a little boosted leadership and initiative for fighting this. It's probably going to charge into them. They might have to get close with it, and they don't want to be, weapon skill 1, essentially, when they fight this thing. So, our Psyker uses his test, boosts 2 models within him itself, and 2 models within 6 inches of him, and he passes. They all become pretty much, they're all pretty basic, so they'd be initiative 4 rather than 3, which is nice, and leadership probably 8 rather than 7, which is actually a big step up. So there you go. I would fight this out, but I don't think they'd do great. Preternatural Awareness. Alright, Psyker strikes first in hand-to-hand combat, and all enemy models in hand-to-hand combat count fumbles double. This power lasts until the Psyker's next activation. Power cannot be used against warp creatures. So, strikes first doesn't totally make sense in this, but it would be you pretty much win any draws automatically, which is pretty good, and enemy counts fumbles as double. That's pretty bad for them. Alright, good for you. So, maybe we will just play out our Psyker here. We won't give him the Righteous Cause boost. This is not going to be good against that spider. I was just thinking I'll take that out of here. I can't remember where I got it, but I'm sure I'll find it. There's some stats for, they have the giant spider, normal Necromunda stats that are, and then they have much bigger, like the raft spider. I think this one's, they have raft spider and some other giant, like massive spider, like this big. And there's stats for them somewhere in some Necromunda, maybe there's one of the Necromunda compilations. Anyways, I'll find it and show the stats off for it, because it's pretty fun. It's got some cool abilities, and it's pretty big and tough. Okay, so we have a new setup here. Our Psyker has gotten off the Preternatural Awareness, and is now, strikes first in combat. We'll just do the combat out. This guy's got a sword, our Psyker's got a sword, so they're going to be pretty matched. They'll both have a parry. Maybe we'll even forget the parry just to keep it simple. So the green dice will be our Psyker, the red will be our enemy here, and our Psyker's actually getting 2 attacks. I don't know why I didn't think of that, but we'll give them both 2 attacks just to make it... No. Yeah, so our Psyker has a knife and a pistol, and we'll say the other guy only has a knife. Now we'll give him swords. We'll give him swords. Okay, red for our Psyker. Ooh, man. Good thing we both have parries. A good thing I gave them swords, right? So they're each going to parry their highest dice. Alright. So our Psyker, it's not a tie or anything. Our Psyker is definitely going to win this combat. The parries really saved us there. But it's a nice little preventative thing. You don't want to get caught up in a tie and just to be able to win the tie against things that have higher initiative than you. Pretty nice. Counting the fumbles as double, the more dice your opponent is rolling, the more likely they are to roll some ones. And having plus, one of their ones turn into +2 combat skill for you is, or combat score at the end of the day is, really pretty good. Alright, number 5, Augury. Now this involves the subversion rating, which we haven't really gone over, but it can do a couple things. The main thing for setup, it says reroll any subversion rating setup for setup purposes. And subversion rating affects who gets to choose sides, pretty much. What board side. You add, I think 1d6 or 2d6, everyone rolls, and add it to their subversion rating, and whoever gets the highest is getting to choose their board edge first. You do a similar roll for your investigation rating, and that's to determine who starts first, who takes the first turn, essentially. But this is just affecting the subversion roll, so Psychic player may force any and all warbands to reroll any subversion rating for setup purposes before each scenario begins. So pretty much you're forcing your opponent to maybe not get to choose which side they set up on, which is pretty good. You can take that kind of advantage away from them. If they're a team that has a high subversion rating, it has a good chance of setting up or choosing their board edge over you. So it's persistent, no need to take a psychic test. It's just automatic. Before every scenario, you can force them to re-roll that who goes first roll, that they add their subversion rating to. Very nice. Not really any way to play that out, but that's what it is. The final one, 6, sense danger. The Psyker can sense where his opponent's shots may come from. The Psyker cannot be targeted by models in Overwatch. This power is persistent. A psychic test does not need to be taken to use this power. So another persistent one. Those are great. Not needing to take the psychic test. And they just can't be targeted by models in Overwatch. That's, really great. So, this will never happen in a real game, but say all 3 of these Rebel Guardsmen are on Overwatch, facing out this way, waiting for us to charge for whatever reason. Maybe we're all out of ammo and they know we have to run in at them. So our Psychic, no need to take a psychic test. He just has preternatural awareness on all the time. He can make this 8-inch charge right here into the sky. Doesn't have to worry about any Overwatch. These guys, if they run around at all, they're going to get shot at. But our Psycho right here, booking it into close combat to take this guy down, can dodge all the bullets from these guys. So that one's pretty basic or easy to play out, and that is the Divination psychic powers. So I know I just kind of do the play out just for fun, just to have some models, something to look at. Doesn't really demonstrate how good the psychic powers are, but just a little flavor, just a little fun. That's about it, just making a short video, so we'll have some more later.